Hello, my name is Amelia Bailey, and this is my speech on healthcare. So, to get started, I just want to list off some numbers. Did you know that 28 million people in the United States right now are uninsured? Meaning that 8.5% of our population is, which does not seem like a big number. However, 28 million people, that is a lot of people who aren't able to have the benefits that health insurance provides. And so you may ask yourself, you may not be familiar with this topic. I know I'm very unfamiliar with this topic. I'm very interested in the medical field and healthcare systems. However, I don't understand the economic or financial side of it at all. I'm way more focused on the science aspect and less on the business side. So I had to do a little research myself. So I just honestly was asking myself, I know basically what educational understanding of what health insurance is. However, I wanted to dig a little deeper. So health insurance provides financial protection to you in case you have a serious accident or illness. So let's say you're out with your friends and you break your leg. Health insurance can prevent you from experiencing these high unexpected costs that go along with breaking your leg, such as x-rays and orthopedic visits, or God forbid if you need surgery. So now we're in a very political climate right now due to the upcoming election, and we are here to discuss these the different views that each party holds regarding healthcare. So the Democratic healthcare views believe that the U.S. healthcare system is very complicated and inaccessible to many Americans. As we said, there's 28 million people who are uninsured. And the U.S. spends twice as much on healthcare in comparison to other nations, and we don't see any better results than these nations. So what are we spending all this money on? Now, coverage is becoming increasingly unaffordable, and this isn't happening just to a certain group of people. This is happening to everyone. I'm from a, upper middle class family, and I've heard my parents discussing for many years how our health insurance just continues to go up each year. And as someone who thankfully does not have to, I'm privileged enough to not have to pay for my own health insurance, but I know I will one day. That's a scary thought that nothing's happened to us. We didn't have to go to the hospital for any reason, yet our health insurance keeps going up. So polling suggests that people would like universal health care, but not the rise in taxes that come along with it. So people like the idea of having everyone being able to, be insured and have access to health care, but, paying much more money than you're already paying is a scary thought, especially for people who are barely making it with these bills that they have to pay. So Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are two Democratic politicians, and they stand with the idea of Medicare for all, which means everyone will have health insurance despite their ability to pay. But there will also be a rise in taxes, and private coverage will be eliminated. Meaning a lot of people, through their jobs and other factors in their life, have a private health insurance plan, a private coverage, and that would be eliminated through this Medicare for all, which is a scary thought for many people because you don't know how well this new healthcare plan will be, if it's better or worse than your existing one. And this Medicare for all will cost about $30 to $40 trillion over the course of a decade, which is an exuberant amount of money, and it's a long time. None of these are going to be quick fixes. This is a very daunting and large problem that we face today, and it's no matter who you side with, it's not a quick fix, whether or not you believe the system needs to be fixed or not. So Biden wants to keep the public options open, meaning that he does not agree with the Medicare for All, since it is very costly and potentially unattainable in the amount of time needed. And he argues that an element of choice should be retained for the American people, and prefers to add a more limited, less generous, and optional public plan to the market, which means that this plan would be available if you would want it. However, you don't have to side with it if you have your own private plan. Yet this public option will compete with your private insurance companies. So now the Republican views are a little bit more vague. They don't have quite a strong stance as the Democratic Party does. They do want to get rid of Obamacare, which could be very harmful to many people, since a large amount of the American population has Obamacare, and if you get rid of it, that leaves even more people unable to be insured, leaves many people uninsured. But the Republican Party wants to preserve the healthcare system we have today. And Trump has yet to inform us on his healthcare plan for 2020, yet I believe it'll just be to, as I stated before, get rid of the Obamacare plan and have just preserve the healthcare system we have today. So health insurance is not the only part of this big picture. Health insurance is there to fix your problems, like the cost of breaking your leg, but it's not there to prevent you from breaking your leg. And there's an article we read where a medical student talks about a homeless man in his ER having an asthma attack, and health insurance would have not have prevented him from having this asthma attack. However, it would have, covered some of his expenses, like the ER visit and the inhalers and medications they use to stop his asthma attack. But what would have really fixed his problems from the get-go would be having adequate shelter and a stable living condition where he wouldn't be exposed to the elements that would cause a attack. So many of our political problems are intertwined, and yet people like to hyper-focus on certain issues that are very polarizing, since people have very strong opinions on it, and it's easier to debate and butt heads with. So that being said, health insurance is very important to many people, obviously, because it prevents a lot of financial distress. However, it's just it's just a part of a much bigger picture, and that is something to keep in mind during this upcoming election. Thank you.